Hey, I'm Alex, and today it's the worst movies of 2013. Yeah. Number 10. Alright, so first my list goes to After Earth. Now, this was actually, it took me a while to really decide which one would take this spot because all the others I already filled in the slots and then I had to think which one was really that bad. And so I didn't rate this as this was crap, I just said this was bad. But among the this was bad movie ratings I gave, yeah, this is probably the worst one of it, and I definitely want to see this one the least out of them. So, what was wrong with After Earth? Boring as hell. Like, it didn't make sense. There was it's just a mess. And- so it's basically a father and a son who years in the future. Apparently, Earth is I guess inhabitable to humans now. So animals evolved to a point where they just slaughter us or something. Like from what the movie said, like it's something like they they can smell our fear because there's a hormone that we give out that's what they can smell. Like okay, that's weird, but sure, I'll buy it. So uh, so we have Will Smith and Jaden Smith who play father and son, who are also father and son in real life. They end up crashing onto the planet, so it's a survival movie. So Will Smith, he's injured, so he's got to communicate with his son, so that way he can get to the bullshit whatever thing, so they can contact for help. God, it's just so boring because Will Smith's character, like apparently he learned how to survive amongst these animals, like because he learned how to how to hide his fears. But then it just like he's always talking in this monotone, like emotionless voice. Like it just it bore the hell out of me. That was the major problem with this movie. So yeah, that's number 10. Number 9. All right, next on my list is Planes. Now, I like Cars, the first one at least. It was a decent movie. It felt a little phoned in, but I liked it for the most part. The second Cars movie, it was just a spy movie, and I had no idea why the hell they did it. Like you didn't need to make it Cars. You could have just made it a spy movie. It was stupid, and I realized oh the reason why they're making it a car movie is so they can sell more toys. And then they go and make planes so they can sell more toys. This movie is pretty much the same story. Like there's one guy who's the rookie. He wants to be in the big race. He wants to try to get to the end. He wants to prove. Like we've seen this story 1,000 times. I don't care. This movie was just so uninspired, uncreative, just lazy. Like there was no effort put into this. You can easily tell it's like, okay, there's this cliche character, here's this cliche character, just no. So yeah, this movie sucked, and apparently it's getting another sequel that's coming out in theaters. I don't know how that happened, but this movie just makes me mad. Number 8. All right, so for the number 8 spot goes R.I.P.D. So when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I actually was kind of looking forward to it a bit. I mean, it did yeah, it looked cheesy. It was pretty much just a ripoff of Men in Black, except with spirits and ghosts and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, I could dig it. I wanted to see this movie, so I went in with a friend. We went to go see this movie. We were both looking forward to it, and it it was like it was just watching a train wreck, like a brand new train, and like you're expecting, oh yeah, this is gonna be cool. It goes, then it immediately derails. It's just a mess all over the place. That's what this movie was. So like the characters had no chemistry. The plot line made no sense. The universe had the universe that they set up for this movie just it has all these weird rules that it's just like what that like one of the things is like okay the spirits hide amongst people, like they can disguise themselves as regular people, and the way to get them to reveal themselves is with Indian curry. why Indian curry? This just seems random. Like, you could easily just say like, oh, we have this thing that we invented in heaven or something. It's a weapon of heaven. We can reveal spirits. That I would have easily believed that. Just roll with it. Then there are other things like that they're you probably see it in the trailers. Like all these monsters are like rampaging through the human world. Everyone's panicking, and they're saying like the people in charge are saying like, oh no, this has never happened before. We gotta stop this. Like how has this never happened before? There's there's almost 7 billion people on Earth currently. How many billions of potentially trillions? I'm not really sure. Let's just say billions. How many billions of people have lived throughout all time? There has to have been something at some point that someone has to have noticed. Like, like I was saying, it's a ripoff of Men in Black. I mean, they at least have the decency to have the nullifier thing, so, like, as soon as the whole alien thing happened, they just memory erased. Like, and it made sense. Like, you could just rip that off. I mean, yeah, it's a ripoff, but it would have at least made sense. And on top of that, there's this stupid line that they keep saying. Like, they're trying to make it like a catchphrase or something. I, I don't remember what it was, because I saw this movie a few months ago. I don't want to go back to try to remember what it was. So, just... yeah, this movie sucked. Like, I came out of this movie initially thinking, yeah, this was a pretty bad movie. But then the more I thought about it, I started thinking, no, this was crap. This was really bad. Like, this is one of the worst movies of 2013. So, number 8. Number 7. Alright, number 7 goes Grown Ups 2. It's really not a surprise that this movie made this list. Like, pretty much almost any Adam Sandler will make this list. It's kind of a guarantee now. Anyways, so yeah, so the first Grown Ups was okay. Like, it wasn't that bad. Like, there were some moments where, like, there are some sincere family moments. Like, okay, that's fine. It's not going for a total comedy. It's kind of trying... it's going to be a little bit kid-friendly, sort of. This one didn't even have that. Like, it had nothing redeeming about it. Like, the entire movie is just, like, stupid setups for stupid jokes that just aren't funny. Like, the beginning of the movie, like, there's a moose that... or, sorry, not a moose. A deer that breaks into their house, and it's just walking around. They accidentally startle it when they wake up, and it just pees on them. It's like... yeah, this is funny for, like, a 10-year-old or something. This... this isn't funny. So, yeah. Adam Sandler, just stop phoning it in. Like, I've seen movies where you're decent. Like, make movies like that again. Come on. I know you could do it. Just stop with these shitty movies you've been making these last few years. Like, but yeah. That's my opinion of Grown Ups 2. Number 6. Alright, so next on my list, The Smurfs 2. So, I didn't see The Smurfs 1, and I was initially thinking I should probably see it before I go see this one. And then I thought, no, I don't want to torture myself. It's bad enough I'm seeing a Smurfs movie. I'm not going to watch 2 of them. So, I just watched the second one. One of the things I really hate the most, like, really hate, are movies for kids that are just for kids, that it's only watchable for those. Like, I know it's possible to make a kid movie that adults can enjoy as well. Like, Pixar has made a bunch of them. Or not even just thinking with movies, with shows. Sesame Street's still awesome. Every now and then I'll see a clip from it. I laugh my ass off at it. This is not that at all. It's jokes that only a toddler would laugh at. It's just unfunny. The actors are just, like, not even trying in it. Like, it's like they know that the movie was shitty when they went to do this. It's just... this is, like, one of the most mindless movies I've ever seen. Like, I wanted to kill myself while watching this. So, if at all possible, skip this movie. Like, if it ever comes up, just run away from it. Don't watch it. Don't bother. Number 5. Alright, so next on my list is Scary Movie 5. So now, there were two movies like this year. There was A Haunted House, and there's Scary Movie 5. Now, A Haunted House, it it was bad. Don't get me wrong, it was pretty bad. But, I feel like it kind of falls into the category that it's bad, like really bad, but still somewhat enjoyable. Like, you know it's a really bad movie, and you can still make fun of a few things. Like, there were some parts of it that made me laugh, but for the most part, not so good. So, and what that had going for it is that it had the Wayans brothers, or Wayans brother, just one of them, in it. So yeah, that it at least had that. Like, the original scary movies used to, just they lost them at some point. I don't know what happened. Anyways, so Scary Movie 5. God, it just, this movie just gets me so mad. Like, the setups for every single joke, it's like, I get that it's a parody, but this just makes no sense. It's total chaos, and I like parody movies that have chaos, like Airplane, but they do it well. Like, they everything comes natural. Like, okay, yeah, that like, it came out of nowhere, but it fits with this. It's funny. It makes sense. This was not that at all. Like, there are just scenes that just come out of nowhere. It's like, well, was that supposed to be a joke? I don't know. And so, what this, all the scary movies primarily make fun of, like, one or two scary movies that are known at the time. So, the first 10 minutes, it makes fun of Paranormal Activity. Okay, so fine. Then the rest of it makes fun of Mama. Why the hell wasn't Paranormal Activity the one it made fun of? Like, I mean, the most of the time, that should have been what this movie's centered on. That's the movie franchise that, like, it's been going for, what, 5 years now? Why didn't they go for that one? That's an easy target. But then, no, they decide, hey, let's make fun of Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Black Swan. First of all, they're not even horror movies, so what the hell is it doing in Scary Movie 5? Second of all, those movies came out, like, 3 years ago now. I was about to say 2 years, but no, I'm recording this in 2014. But, I won't. Came out in 2013. So, anyways, those movies came out in 2011. So those movies were 2 years old by the time this movie came out. Like, they're not even relevant anymore. You got to do something that's relevant when the movie comes out. Otherwise, that's, what the hell are you making fun of them for? Because this movie was stupid. Just skip it. If you really want to watch something like this, watch A Haunted House. That's at least a bit better. I'd rather watch that over this one. Number 4. Alright, so number 4 on my list. Spring Breakers. Just going through this list is making me really angry. So, Spring Breakers, it's these 4 girls who want to go on spring break and have a great time. But God, I just wanted... They pissed me off so much. Like, they're constantly whining, like, oh no, we're gonna get in trouble, like, it wasn't supposed to be like this, why is everything bad happening to us? Like, you fucking stole a car from one of your professors in the beginning, you robbed a few places, like, you held a gun to someone's head, like, I'm pretty sure it was a fake gun, but that's not the point, you still threatened people's lives, and then you go and you start doing drugs, you start doing booze, and then you get arrested, like, yeah, you fucking deserve that, you deserve... I have no sympathy for you, so shut the hell up. And it was... God damn, dude, I hate this movie so much. Like, I don't even know what the point of it was. They go on spring break, shit goes down. That's it. They meet up with James Franco's character, like, they suddenly start hanging out with him. I don't know who in their right mind would just start hanging out with some random person who they've never met, who just happened to bail them out. Like, who the hell just bails out a random person? I wouldn't trust that guy. And, like, just... I hate this movie. Number 3. Alright, number 3 goes The Host. So, The Host, it's basically Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and... yeah, that's what it starts out as. Like, first it's so if you don't know, Invasion of the Body Snatchers is a movie where aliens come down and they basically start possessing people's bodies. Like they hop in, then okay, the person that used to be there, they're kind of dead. I'm just using their body as a shell. That's what they did, and that was scary as hell. That's a creepy concept, and so they did. That's what the aliens do in this movie. And the way this movie starts out, like it already happened. They took over most of society. Like pretty much everyone's been taking over, and there's only a small band of humans that are still like, we're the rebellion. We're not gonna let you just take over. You know, understandably, like okay, so this is a fine setup, and then the main character of this movie, she ends up getting captured and she gets possessed. But when the alien is put into her, like you hear her consciousness and she's still alive. Like she's still like, no, 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 I'm not going out with a fight, and she's constantly fighting with the alien that's in her body. It's like okay, yeah, that's a cool setup. And then they turned it into a really really stupid teen romance thing, and then that's when I found out. Oh, hey, this comes from the same writer of Twilight. I don't know what the hell is it with turning monster concepts into teen romance bullshit. Like, it's stupid. It makes no sense. Just if you want to have a teen romance thing, fine. Have a teen romance thing. Why bother having the monster element in it? It doesn't make any sense. There's no way they'd have this going on in the middle of monsters. God, this is a stupid movie. Don't ever see it. It's terrible. Number 2. Alright, so number 2 on my list is Texas Chainsaw. Now, I like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. Like, I haven't seen all of them. I've seen, like, at least 3 or 4. Yeah, I've seen 4 of them. So, I know slasher films, they're just mindless horror. They're, like, there's really not much to them. You have monster or murderer or whatever the hell it is. Teens are there. Guy tries to kill teens. That's it. There's really not much else to most of the plots, and most of them are pretty creative. Like, oh yeah, it's cool seeing that. God, this one just it made no sense. Like, I mean, I know characters in slasher films are supposed to be stupid. God damn, like, okay, I'm gonna spoil this movie, but there's really no point in spoiling in being worried about that, because I'm letting you know now. Just don't bother watching this movie. There's one part in the movie where one of the girls finds out that she's Leatherface's cousin. Leatherface, the monster, for those who don't know. So she finds out that that's her cousin, and so at one point in the movie, like, he's tied up and they're about to kill him, and she's like, "Oh no, don't kill him!" Like, she saves him, but at that point in the movie, I'm like, he fucking murdered 4 of your friends in front of you. Like, if I saw anyone doing that, I don't care if you're my family or not, I'm gonna shoot your ass. Like, no, just because you're family doesn't mean you just automatically defend them. That's not how that works. That makes absolutely no sense, especially if there's a psycho killer who just tried to kill you. So that's among some of the problems with it. Like, everyone in this movie is just stupid. Just they make characters in other slasher film movies look like freaking geniuses. Like, these just and on top of that, they actually said that this is the true sequel to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, like, Texas Chainsaw 2 and 3 and all, every single sequel and reboot and everything, none of that was real. None of that mattered. This is the only one that does. And it's like, it makes no sense at all. Like, the first one took place in the 70s, so the sequel, it's supposed to be like right after it. So, like, stuff goes down right after it. They find a baby, and then that baby is the main character who looks like she's in her 20s, but then all of a sudden they have smartphones and technology from this day and age, so that means it's in this decade. But if we were to assume that she was 20-year-old or so, that means that the first one didn't take place in the 70s, it took place in the 90s. And if that's the case, what the hell were they doing dressed up as 70s people? Either, so that's one scenario, or it takes place in, this movie takes place in the 90s, but they still somehow have technology from our time, or this girl and all her friends just happen to be in their 40s and they just look really, really good. All four scenarios are really stupid. So, this is my number 2 worst movie of the year. So, number 1. Alright, so you want number 1? Here's number 1. Alright, so for the worst movie of 2013, I'm gonna cheat a little bit and have a tie between 2 movies. So the 2 worst movies of 2013, which are essentially the exact same movie, with just one is slightly less bad than the other. It's Movie 43 and Inappropriate Comedy. Just, I like skit comedy, like Mad TV or Saturday Night Live. Like, I like stuff like that. Even YS Kids, they have some funny skits. But Jesus Christ, it's like, okay, let's talk about Movie 43 first. So, this movie, it's just skit after skit after skit. So, like, they're all supposed to be different scenarios. So, now, the premise for each of the jokes, it's funny. Like, okay, that's a funny idea, like, on paper, but the execution is, holy shit. This is like, the execution is just horrible. Like, I'm watching it, it's like, I understand the setup, but I'm not laughing. Can you give me a joke? Like, there's so many things that it's more disturbing than it is funny. And the one scene that actually did kind of make me laugh was the scene with the black coach and the black basketball team who keeps telling them that they're going to win against the other team because the other team is white and their team is black, so they're automatically going to win. But the way that skit goes, okay, yeah, that was funny, but it's the last skit in the movie, and they marketed the hell out of it with that scene, so I already knew that all the jokes in it, so it wasn't as funny as it could have been. So all the jokes just like fell flat. They went on way too long. I wanted, like, most of these jokes should have just been for a couple minutes and then end. But no, it just kept going and going and going and going, and it's stop. So that's Movie 43. Now, Inappropriate Comedy, it has all that, like that I said, but what makes this one worse is that it has one joke, that it tells a second joke, then it tells a third joke, then it tells a different version of joke 1, then it tells a fourth joke, then it says another version of joke 2, then another version of joke 3, then another version of joke 1 again, then a new joke, then another version of joke 2. Like, stop doing the same joke over and over. It wasn't funny the first time, it's not going to be funny the next time. Just stop. I mean, Movie 43 at least had the decency of having a bit of variety. Like, it had different things. It at least had that. But, god damn, it's just, like, they had this thing called Black Ass, which is supposed to be a parody of Jackass, but it wasn't funny at all. They had Flirty Harry instead of Dirty Harry. Same thing, not funny. They had this one skit where it's these two people, like, watching just random pornos, and then, like, it's supposed to be, like, Siskel and Ebert. That was just, what the hell am I watching? This is hands down the worst movie I have ever seen from 2013. And now that I really think about it, probably the worst movie I've ever seen. This is just goddamn awful. Jeez. Those are my top 10 worst movies of 2013. So, do you agree with me on any of those? If so, comment below. Yeah. See you next time.